Hi, I'm Pete from Bioathletic, talking today about how you can assess when your running shoes have essentially had their life. Now, you often hear about 600 kilometres or 800 kilometres for a pair of running shoes or 12 months. The problem with a lot of these figures is 12 months depends on how much running you're doing, 600 kilometres depends on whether you land heavy, whether you're really abusing the shoes, or whether you're looking after them with your running technique. So to get around that, we can assess the shoe directly and look at signs of wear and tear on the shoe, both for determining when it's had its life, as well as what your next shoe is going to be. The signs of wear on the shoe are fairly obvious when you know what you're looking for. First, you need to understand what the shoe is designed to do. Understanding the design means you can tell when it's failing to live up to the design of the shoe. A typical running shoe, there's two different types, and essentially there's a cushioning type of shoe which has a nice white sole or a consistent colour in the sole across, and it's all made of a very soft material. So when you push in with your thumb, you can deform the foam on the bottom of the shoe. It's designed to absorb impact and give very little guidance or support to the foot itself. Often good for runners that have a lot of inherent support in their foot and the musculature around the foot. This design of shoe relies on the cushioning in order to hold the foot while running. With a more of a supportive design, now these are often called support, stability or motion control shoes, and essentially they're a very similar design. We have two different types of foam. There's the white foam, still a very soft foam designed to cushion. There's also another colour of foam. Now often it's grey, but it depends on the make of the shoe. And this grey foam, very firm to push on. Designed to support the inside edge of the shoe. So when you're looking at your shoe, you won't see that across the outside, purely on the inside, under the instep of the foot. That foam, firm and designed to support. So once it's no longer supporting the foot, it can no longer do what it was designed for, and therefore this shoe has had its life. So what we're looking for when we look for wear of the shoe is we're looking for signs of compression or creases in the back 2/3 of the shoe. Now, where it occurs in the shoe really depends on how your foot's behaving as it's hitting the ground, and we'll cover that more when we speak about how to choose your next running shoe in our next video. Signs of wear, essentially we're looking for horizontal creases forming in the back 2/3. So when you look at the shoe, often it helps to tilt it on the light, and you can see there the creasing forming in the actual white foam. Now that creasing indicates that the foam's being compressed and is no longer bouncing back to its full potential. Creasing in the white section is bound to happen early on, and it's the severity of the creasing that tells you whether your shoe has survived or not. When we look at the grey section, so the part of the shoe which is a denser material designed to support the instep, when we see horizontal creases through this part of the shoe, it's not a good sign. It means the support's no longer sitting at the level it needs to and is giving way under the foot. Again, the worse the compression, the more chance you've got of needing to replace that shoe. Now, often the wear on the bottom of the shoe, some people use that as a guide for when the shoe needs replacing, but the wear, unless you're slipping while you're running, the wear patterns don't really have a lot. So the fact that this shoe is quite worn on the front may relate more to running style and the foot skidding in as it hits the ground, but doesn't necessarily warrant replacing unless the shoe is slipping underfoot. When we look at the front third of the shoe, often there is vertical compression lines. So compression from when the shoe actually bends back as we're running, and those vertical compression lines are pretty much normal for a shoe. Vertical compression happens when the toe bends, and we'll show early on it doesn't limit the life of the shoe. The other thing to notice is when you look front on at the shoe, look at the deformation of the upper. If the upper part of the shoe is deforming off to one side, often the foot itself is slipping. Now, it can be more pronounced with orthotics, particularly ill-fitting orthotics, but otherwise, if you do see that deformation happening in the upper part of the shoe, often it means that your foot isn't staying central on the shoe and is shifting across. That can present issues as far as support, stability, and cushioning if your foot's not resting where it needs to. You'll notice the upper shifting across in the front, or you'll notice through the instep or the inside aspect of the foot that the middle section of the upper is stretching across. Both signs that your foot isn't staying well positioned and the shoe is not holding you where it needs to, probably warranting replacement.